It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon. We are here once again to take a look at what is happening in this great country of ours for 1 hour in the next 60 minutes to really talk about issues, burning issues making the news in Nigeria on the program 60 Minutes Nigeria. And I am your host, Wilson Marshall, standing in for Husa Agbonlaho, who is unavoidably absent. Well, today we're taking a look at what happened in the Rivers by-election. Is raising so much dust and pundits of the opinion that if time isn't taken, this may just be a pathway to 2019 general elections. From opinions, from reviews, from accusations and counter-accusation, it was a case of ballot snatching, it was a case of thuggery, it was a case also of unchecked violence. And of course, money was involved. If these four factors came together to make an election to the extent that the rec was like, I can't continue with this, we have to call it quit right now to readjust the timetable, what hope is there come 2019 if these things are not put in place for Nigerians to come experience free, fair, credible elections? To do justice to this topic, I have a legal practitioner, a human rights activist, both local and international politics, is well grounded. Join me, welcome, Barrister Olaiwola Afolabi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks.
I appreciate your comment. All right. And sitting close to him, it's like we planned it, it wasn't planned. You know, it's like people to his wardrobe, I don't know what really happened. He's a prof in the University of Benin, yes, but he has what they call a big heart when we talk about political issues. He's always objective in his analysis. When we talk about impartation of knowledge, is well grounded. Political issues, both local and international. Believe you me, when he starts talking, you get to realize that this man really knows the stuff in politics. Join me, welcome, Prof. Raf Ehigato. Welcome to the show. I appreciate your comment.
Thank you.
All right, in course of the program, we're expecting a politician, Ehi Igariba. When he comes, will just join us in the show. Now, let me start off with you, Barrister. What's your take on what really happened in Rivers by-election, especially in Port Harcourt, where the election was annulled? It was like, we just can't continue in what really happened, what really transpired for a rec to be so scared. It was like, look, forget about the election, look for other days to really conduct a fresh election for these persons.
I think, to me, there is no sincerity on the part of INEC. If you look at the by-election, it's just for House of Assembly, very small area. I used to go to Port Harcourt. The first thing you want to do, in fact, if you want to really do election in that area, for the people to see that that election will be credible, you can employ AIT, NTA, let them show it live. Number one, before you can conduct election, for a very small constituency, who are the voters? The list of voters that they didn't display them. Maybe if you have the clip, you can show it. Very small place, either constituency, either 2 or 3. It's a by-election, not for national. It's for just for House of Assembly. Number one, who are the voters? The voters list, you display them for the public. The problem people are having in the country that people no longer trust INEC. That place is a very small place. If INEC cannot conduct a credible, fair and free election, then I wonder what would be for the governorship election. And also in Rivers, sometimes if you are trying to Rivers, either from Warri, you will see one poster, I used to say it. They say, win or lose, we are brothers. It's not. How can you cheat me and you expect me to say we are brothers? It's not. So the only thing INEC can do is that let it be credible. Look at the election that brought in Buhari. Everybody agree that Buhari won. Of course, there are some areas, but that's why the president said, no, I will not go to court. He allowed, because if it was of the view that that election was at least 80% credible substantially, but that cannot be said now. So the only thing any can do, let it be free and fair. People will accept. That's my own one take on it.
All right, now I'll come back to it because you are faulting INEC for the cancellation of that election, talking about them not being fair.
Yes.
And about some names or some parties were not displayed on the ballot paper.
Yes.
Prof. Rap, what's your take?
Yeah, the issue of River State is peculiar because we have seen time number that river election have been problematic. Remember, there's the power tussle between the Labour Party, APC now, and the PDP. You know the relationship that is between Amechi and Wike. So that power tussle is still there. Now, this man, we know that he was formerly the what they call the chief of staff to Amechi when he was in PDP. Now, we all know how he went to Abuja, he became minister and that. Now, after that, Amechi transformed to, migrated to APC. I don't think migrated because he can come back to PDP tomorrow, depending on how the attitude is. So, now, Wike is now in power. And for him to allow APC to take over one central district, it will be very, very difficult. Because we all know that Rivers State have two giant politicians, that's Amechis and the Wike. Wike is in power, so it will be very difficult for Wike to allow that area of Panako to go. And when we talk about my worry is not just this election we're talking about. I'm talking about 2019 election. What will happen? Because the way and manner INEC is doing the whole thing, I don't know what will happen in 2019. Sometimes what will happen in 2019? We remember just case just happened. Just went.
My state.
We know you're from that place, and we saw a lot of things happening and how vote buying and all that. And the same thing playing out here. Now, what happened to us? Because I hope and I wish that our country will be together. Because so this will not lead to total anarchy, where people would now take gun and other things against each other because of politics. I don't know. I don't see. That's just I'm worried. Seriously worried.
It's really worried.
Worried, yes.
About it.
Yes, I'm worried about what's happening because back we know there be killing and everything happening in River State. So I lived there before, and I know those people that are contacting me about. It's a quite small area, and where I see people, they have killed up because of power. And what occurred to me, what happened to me, what I think is that these are politicians. They are not after our welfare, just self-enrichment.
Self-enrichment.
Yes.
All right, now you blamed it on the two parties tussling for power.
Yes.
I talk about the PDP and the APC, the Wike factor, and of course the Amechi factor.
Yes.
And you also talked about INEC, the way they're going about the conduct of the election. You're not so much satisfied with it. I mean, it's a pitching tent with barrister. All right, Honorable Ehi, you are in the ruling party. You've heard their own position. So what's your take on the by-election?
Well, firstly, I think we have to look at the situation that happened in River State from a broader perspective, in the sense that we need to do a review of the entire Nigerian political system, especially with regards to the conduct of elections. We have this, our politicians, we who are in the political sphere, by way of orientation, we have this zero-sum mentality, like winner takes all and the other person don't matter. So there's that siege situation where, like, it's warfare actually. You are going to capture, seemingly, the position that is up for grabs. And that makes people deploy all sort of resources that they have, sometimes illegal resources. And that brings a lot of pressure on the umpire. Umpires are supposed to be even unprotected in many instances. For instance, politics, if you were to look at it, just opposite against other competitive activities that human beings participate in. Like in football, you are not going to find an armed man by the side of the referee. If you're playing lawn tennis, the umpire is there, you don't see an armed person. Even in global sports, you're not going to see armed person protecting umpires. But in Nigeria, we have so much overheated our political space. We have so much commercialized our political space to the extent that the interest, the vested interests are willing to do whatever it takes to swing the pendulum in their own direction. Therefore, firstly, I would like to absolve INEC of all of the blame. INEC, yes, they are a critical partner in terms of the conduct of elections, but they are also not responsible for the provision of security. You know, what was novel in the Rivers situation was actually even the presence of SARS. You know, by my definition, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, they are supposed to be a special anti-robbery or terrorist squad. Yeah. And I don't know what election has got to do with armed robbery or terrorism. So in that context, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. They shouldn't have been there. And the presence of those people sometimes deter even the voter who is not politically inclined, who is not interested in party, but who have just listened to the issues as canvassed by candidates, or who takes a liking to a certain candidate and just want to go out there peacefully and exercise their franchise. Sometimes when there's too much policing is an issue. But again, you can't blame the police, because political parties on their own, you can't absolve any of the political parties from this situation, because everyone comes prepared. You also don't want to be taken unawares. And because you come prepared, usually the police are pulling units or centers, usually come unarmed. Women, sometimes they get even the traffic people, give them the relevant training to be present at polling stations. And so they are unarmed. But you politicians from all sides of the arming their supporters, and we have taken it to the extent that two brothers from the same parents, they can even be twins. Once they belong to two different political parties, it becomes like they've been sworn enemies for a lifetime. We need to dissipate all of those negative energies from our political sphere, such that we open up the space for a free contest. Let people, you know, exercise their franchise or seek mandates at ease.
All right, seeking of mandate with ease. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
If Presidential Director could just roll the clip of the Rivers election while it was being conducted. Now, from what Honorable said, he totally absorbed INEC from whatever happened in Rivers. He talked about the security outfits. After heaping a little bit of blame on them, he now absorbed them, saying the politicians are the ones responsible for what happened in Rivers State, arming their persons, or will I say their people, or people that really have the heart for the party. What's your take on that?
Well, to me, I will blame I will blame even INEC and the security agents. You know, as I've said, Nigerians, we are very intelligent. We know the truth, and we are eager to get the results. You know, one thing is this: if you want to do something credible, people know. I don't want to go back to Ekiti. We know what happened in Ekiti. But one thing is this: if to me, let me give you an example of we did the election in Nigeria Bar Station. You know, what to invite the SSS. SSS, they were there, and they were very impartial. They stood there. People went to go and vote, and we voted. There was no rancor, because we thought maybe there would be rancor. We had to invite SSS. They were there, and they encouraged everybody to go and vote. I don't know, everybody accepted the results. I'm talking about the MB election. So if SARS were there, or other security men were there, they can be there. So far, allow other people to vote. Don't encourage illegality. Don't encourage people sharing money. To me, I don't, if you know the Rivers State, to me, I don't, SARS can be there, because we know in Rivers, if I were talking to one of the policemen, he said there's no kidnapping here. He said in Rivers, almost every minute, you see kidnapping going on. So the press of SARS is good, but even when let them be there, so far they encourage people to do their franchise lawfully. So that was another thing. You know, if you look at the election of President Yar'Adua in 2007, he agreed. That's why people like that man. He came out openly that I knew the election that brought me to power was illegal, was characterized by their electoral malpractices. He had to set up a committee led by Justice late, so Justice retired West, a Supreme Court, CGN, and they came out with a lot of recommendation. But till now, those recommendations have been put in place.
All right.
And two, you know, we still have problems. You know, when Jonathan was there, he appointed an Hausa man as the head of the INEC. Even when the election was very tough, there's a pressure on him. We remove this man. The guy said, no, let him be there. But now, if Buhari want to test the popularity, let him remove the man, put an Igbo man there, or Igbo man there, to show you're sincere. There's a woman there now in INEC, that woman. Her time has expired, but she's still there.
No, you don't have proof that time has expired.
Way of coming out, people, I won't come here to make a frivolous allegation.
Yeah.
Anywhere, even in Ekiti, the government mentioned a name, I forgot the name, that she should leave the place. It's related to the president. But no. So if Nigeria, if you want to do something, let it be credible. People will accept, even if they lose, they will accept it.
All right. Now, he raised some points that someone today that in Rivers, there are like, kidnappings, but I know that SARS are doing their job. Oh, SARS have been demanded already. SARS, they are doing their job to check it, so you don't have any fear to go to Rivers State. He still hinged on the need of security to be present in whenever an election is being conducted. Security personnel. He's also hammering on INEC. I wonder why that is, but that is his own opening. Whatever they're saying here is our own opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV radio. Now let me come to you. From what the rec said, he said, I can't stand this. INEC are not armed. They're the electoral empire. They were called upon to conduct the election. They don't have skills to defend themselves. You just cast your vote. But what he said he saw uniformed men. He never mentioned any security outfit protecting some thugs with ballot papers. They were aiding and abetting to snatch ballot boxes. He never mentioned any outfit. Take note. Yes. On saying that, he said, look, this election is not free, it's not fair, it's not credible. For that reason, cancel the election. It's not a plus for the REC.
Well, in my opinion, if that's what played out, yes, the rep, yes, yes, to cancel the election. It depends on which side is supporting.
In what terms? How? Which side? How?
If those guys that were there are PDP and he's from APC, that will go. But if he's on the other side, you know what I mean? If he's, because I know that these people who call the INEC, they're not politicians. They are part of the ruling party.
No, hold on. Now, you don't have to go that. You don't have to go that. They are neutral. They are neutral umpires.
The INEC is not fully independent. You know it. See, they don't have money to look at the election now. Look at what's happening in the National Assembly. If they were independent, they would go out to stop for their resources to fund the election. But if I'm your father, I'm giving you school fees to pay. Isn't it I say you accept? You can't argue with me. I said, but I'm your father. So if I'm giving you money to do one thing, I have control over it. That's what's happening with INEC. So that's it. So if INEC were truly independent, all these things were playing out. But the best solution is let's go enter electronics. Go be in your bedroom and vote. Nobody will guide any vote, any polling booth. No polling booth. Be in my bedroom. Go put all the necessary data I need. I vote. If I'm voting for a party that doesn't exist, I will vote. Than going to kill ourselves. I'm tired of the issue. Because I know that day in Port everything was granted. No work. No. People are at home doing nothing. If we have electronic voting, for example, I'll be in my office. At any time I cross my leg, I do my vote, I go. That's the only solution. All those ones, until we go there and say, let us go total electronics. All these things will not stop. Because if you are in there, if you are electronics, there's no way you can stop no ballot to complete. Where police, where army or soldier will be getting somebody to complete. It's not there. I win my house. And there's always a challenge in that term of electronic voting. They need to make sure that the security system is in place so that people will not break through. No, wow. Like what happened between America and the US. You know, US and Russia.
Russia,
yes.
Yeah.
Those things can be taken care of. No, until we go there. But I am not too sure if I can come on the day of election. Because I don't want somebody to finish to shoot at me. Because I just want to one vote. So we must, I don't think we must look at the issue of Electronic voting, total electronic voting.
Total electronic voting.
Yes.
All right, I'll come back to you, Prof. Now, from what he said, is happy that the results were to favor the other party. There would have been a cancellation. That's what he said. Would you want to pitch tent with him?
I don't think so. You know, because we are on TV and most times when we postulate like this, we mold public opinion. So it's important that we speak facts to issues. For instance, Barrister Afolabi had said a certain lady, though he wouldn't mention the name, he said to the extent that she's Buhari's relative. That can happen, that somebody is your relative. You know, some of the relative or perhaps the proprietor of this organization work here, you know, by default, not because he planned that at a certain time when I become president, because she was only not just employed. She's been within the system and be rising through the ranks. So if coincidentally at a certain time your relative is in power and you are in a certain office that have custody over elections, I don't think it should be any issue. If what other countries are doing, we are doing. Because what we have done now is we have our institutions very highly compromised. Compromised, bastardized, and to the extent that Barrister had said, which in other claims is an anomaly, that they had to bring the members of the DSS in the conduct of their elections. Why? Why the siege mentality? Why are you expecting there to be chaos in an election? What is election supposed to mean? People who volunteer to serve.
Of course.
So why do you need armed people to protect and forestall and anticipated crisis, clash, or people who want to hijack the process? Nigerians need to do away with this because, firstly, the way we conduct our elections have a lot of implications for our economy because it affects the socio-economic balance of the country. As we speak now, you are going to have people in the various companies watching closely events that are leading on to our general elections. Some are going to be contemplating divesting from our economy because they don't know how it's going to go. And some who are coming, because it's very easy. If I have $1 million, I have $10 million, $100 million, I want to invest in an economy, I just go on Google. I need to know what's the prevailing situation in that country, security, economic, and political. If I see it's shaky, I'm not taking my money there. I need a more balanced climb, more secure climb to invest in. So it's a Nigerian mentality. It's just like siege. You know, I must get it, I must get it. It's crazy. It goes even into the political parties. When you look at the primaries, you know, all so tilted. Somebody's interest, it must be me, it must be my structure. You're wondering, what else do you want? You just want to, if you're offering service, what do you need structure for? What's the push for? Why are you killing? Why do you want to just take, grab? It's just this life. I want to offer service. You've seen former presidents of the United States, former presidents in other climes, they have little or no contribution to the political process in their countries anymore. They don't have structures. They don't believe in structures. They believe in offering their own manifesto and people, you know, buy into it. So INEC is isolated in the sense that I can heap the blame at their doorstep, whereas all the other active actors in the political space are so antagonistic. Who are the INEC officials? Minus the few who are employed. The ad hoc staffs are more. These are AYSC people. Are we going to say those people who have left from Taraba and come to Imo, who left from Edo State, they are in Jigawa, at the expense of their lives, conducting elections for Nigerians? And then now we are heaping the blame on them to say, oh, INEC. These are the people.
All right. I'll come back to you. He's still exonerating INEC. Now, it was a case of accusation and counter-accusation. A case of the ruling party in the state versus the ruling party in the federation.
Yes.
It was a case of the governor saying it is a situation whereby the ruling party at the federal level sent their agents, so to speak, allegedly sent their agents to make the election favor the ruling party at the federal level.
Yes.
And of course, the ruling party also at the federal level said, look, it is the case of the governor sending thugs to fight them to retain power. So how can we really get out of this mess?
Yes. You know what? Okay.
Barrister, how? Because it's like, this is my domain. No, you have to leave. No, I have to say, okay, fine, thugs, agencies, start fighting. How can we move out of this platform?
You know, I've said so several times. You know, truth has no coloration. You know, take for example the election of Buhari and Jonathan. Like me, I voted for Buhari for APC because I'm of the view then, I can't say now, then that there'll be a change. I voted and in my ward, there was not, everybody voted. People voted. A lot of people voted for Buhari. In fact, 80%. And that's why when Jonathan lost, they asked him, "No, I won't go to court." In fact, himself he saw it. And everybody praised Jiga. And look at it. And that's why I thank God for the life of Jonathan. Jonathan was from Baisa, but he appointed a Hausa man, Jaga, to be there. They are pressured him to remove Jaga. He said, "No, let it be there. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win." That should be an example. But now, what we're seeing now, look at our former governor. I saw him with one of the House of Rep. We're jubilating that even the next issue, we're going to win it. It's not YouTube.
Now back to the river situation.
I'm coming fast. I'm coming. All right. The YouTube, they are with is it? I must say campaign. They said we say we won in Ekiti. We won now. The next one they are going to win in Osun. They are saying they are going to win. So people now. That's why I say, you know, if there's credit, nobody. In fact, we lawyers will have less work to do. I'm telling you, because if the election was credible, nobody would go to court. But let people, we are saying, remove the man that is there, the addict man, put another person there, just like Jonathan, and appoint another person, not from the other side. Let another Igbo man be there. Then you don't know, we are serious. Because forget that my brother say they are coppers. But who it's not the people that voted, but the people that count the result. They don't determine the election. So Nigeria wants people credible. That's the point was saying.
All right. So what about the Wiki and
of course now the problem, of course now the problem is there. You cannot sort it out. That's why I said I did not blame INEC for bringing SARS or DSS. Let it be there. But the only thing is this: these people, what are they doing there? Is to help the people. If you know Rivers is not like Edo State. Rivers it's not like we talk about Rivers. If you know them, you know the out of oil company there. We saw what happened last week when in fact they kill a soldier.
No, hold on now. Let's focus on the election. Let's talk about the killing now.
What I'm saying is this: to me, I agree. SARS can be there. DSS can be there to protect the lives of the voters, but they should not support one party against another party. If they are there, there will be no problem.
All right. Now, I want to do the same question at you, Prof. This party, state, other party, federal, scrapping for one constituency. Yes. Thugs, allegations, federal might, counter allegations. How can we really resolve this?
Well, I want to say, my friend here, I just remember when he was talking. He was talking exactly as a typical politician who can pet you and get what you want. I don't know, it's like this. Look, everybody, including me.
It's abusive anyway.
Hold on. Hold on.
Attack my personality.
Honorable, not to worry. Honorable, not to worry. You react to it. Prof, just take it back so that please will just continue to analyze. Okay. So he said he's sorry. Sorry.
The truth must be told. Yeah. The Nigerian politician, they just come to rob our bank, take what they want. At the end of the day, we are not their enemies. I say, during the time of Buhari, I personally voted for Buhari because I was just fed up with the said PDP administration. because we're not moving forward. We're going back. And when APC came on, I personally believe that things will change. But the condition we are, only the political situation is even worse. Now,
what's your what time? Because your own opinion varies for some people. Opinion they're saying that it's better. So in some climes they're saying that it's better, it's cooler. Why is some other clime saying it's worse?
So I'm going to do election.
Yes.
I'm going to bring SARS. I'll go and bring even like Kitty. I'm going to bring immigration. I need 30,000 policemen. Where people are dying in Sabisa Forest, the policemen cannot go there. So these are my challenges. Election, as he said, should be peaceful. I will go there, I will vote, I'll come back, get to my home safely. Nobody embarrasses me. But that is not the case of Nigeria issue, Nigeria case. In River State, it's very difficult. During the time of Buhari election, my friend will come and say that one of my friends for 2 days was in the bush.
Do you what in the bush?
Yes, they took over the area. They're killing people. I said that one. So,
all right, gentlemen,
let me see.
If you're talking about loss of life, if you don't have proof, I wouldn't want you to like you just hold on there. Okay, one of your friends said. Now, since we can't substantiate it, let's drop it.
Okay. All right, thank you. That the issue of Amechi and Wike need to probably look to, because these guys are from River State. Because political issues, that's what's causing that difference. If anybody can wave through the matter and see how they can resolve it. Remember the time, even when Abuja will come to River State, there will be fight between the two policemen. So the two bodyguards between Iwiki and and this thing is spreading across the state, and things have become very difficult in the state. In as much as I appreciate what Wike is doing, because development is far growing in River State, I know that. But this issue of political tugging is an issue. Innocent people are being killed, that's being lost. So many things are happening in River State. I'm not comfortable with it. Okay. And my prayer is it should not continue like this in 2019.
All right. In the case of Ekiti, we get to hear about money politics. In the case of Rivers, Port Harcourt, that's more constituency, it's all about thuggery, ballot snatching, money, everything, just mixed potpourri of all the negativities that predetermines a free, fair, credible election. And the man said, look, Nigerians, I can't take this. Let's forget about this election. The state government factor, the federal might, how can it be resolved? People are like so apprehensive. They are scared that if this could happen in Rivers, what would be the pathway of 2019 general elections?
Firstly, I would like to, take our minds back to, certain issues. Maybe history will help us to, have a clear pathway on what the future should look like, or currently what's happening. If you remember in 1979, when the electoral umpire then was Fedeco, headed by Oviewiski, Justice Oviewiski, from the then Bendel State. It was Bendel State at the time. And the election primary basically was between Shehu Shagari and Obafemi Awolowo. Of course, Awolowo went to the court, he cried foul. The umpire then wasn't an Hausa person. So, it doesn't follow. Whether you take somebody from Ogun, you take somebody from Edo, you just put a Nigerian there. The Constitution requires that you put a Nigerian. And legally speaking, we don't speak sentiments to law. We speak facts. Legally speaking, who is supposed to head INEC? Is there a tribal requirement as a qualification to head INEC? If no, then constitutionally, has there been a breach? No. So is the man there lawfully occupying the position? Yes. So no basis for that argument. Then we come to, people tend to forget so quickly that River State, according to international observers, had one of the bloodiest elections ever conducted in the history of Nigeria. That was the election that produced Wike as governor.
That's according to international observers, their own opinion.
Yes, the records are there.
Okay,
the
their
number
own
of people
opinion.
that died, and the result was withheld for a couple of days. Some of the international observers found it difficult to leave that territory. they don't also forget so quickly, because you know now you can flip the coin and be like, oh Ekiti, oh what has happened in Ekiti, because you got played out, you got defeated after being so boastful. And do you know how Fayose came? Senator Musli Obanikoro was the then Minister of State for Defense, who led supposedly what is called the federal troop to produce Wike.
Allegedly, do you have proof of this?
There were recordings. Have you forgotten the APC, hold on, the former PDP chairman who made confessions down on YouTube, because he quoted from YouTube.
All right, now,
confessions to
I'll like us.
I'm sure.
I'll like us. Oh, hold on now, honorable. I'll like us right now. Gentlemen, he owns the floor now. Let him anchor.
It's not restricted to.
Let him anchor. Now, let's forget about norms right now. Let's just go straight to
what I have said is that
it's going to party lines.
We must not forget where we are coming from, in order that we such that we can appreciate where we are and where we are going to. Firstly, you want to find out what happened in the election that brought Fayose to power in Ekiti. Has there been an improvement on that process? Certainly. Because in that election, governors, the constitution was breached for Fayose to be produced.
You don't have to go that. You don't have to go that. Now, we are talking about facts right now. Gentlemen, hold on now. Gentlemen, thank you. Gentlemen, our time is up. Our time is up. Our time is up now. Yes. You only take, let's say, a minute each, if the people permit us, to summarize your points. Let's focus on the issue. And 1 minute each and the way forward, because 2019 is fast approaching.
Yes, to me, the way forward is just like my professor said, though Nigeria has not developed, let that be electoral voting. We did it during our election, the MB election. Electoral voting, or showing for. That will solve the problem of everything. Right. That's to me.
Electronic voting or option A4. All right, thank you so much, Barrister Olaiwola Afolabi. Prof. Ralph, please.
I have said before, electronic voting, because if electronic voting, this issue of giving, buying and selling vote, it will have, like when we did our election, and I just was a surveyor. I'm a surveyor. I was in my bedroom when I did my voting after accreditation. That's all.
All right.
That's all.
Electronic voting.
Yes.
Option A4. Honorable?
I think most of the paraphernalia, the affluence that go with political offices should be removed. Once you strip them of these peps and the offices become ordinary, if you know you are going to, you are not getting an official car, for instance, if you're a local government chairman or state governor, I don't think people are going to kill to get into those positions. If you know you are a senator, you are going to have to go to Abuja once a week. You are not entitled to any kind of accommodation in Abuja, just to stay in a hotel, no more than 15,000. I'm not sure anybody will shoot a gun to get into any of that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. At the point it got a little bit heated up, but they were able to contain their emotions. Whatever they say right here in the studio is entirely their own opinion, but we do our best possible to make sure that they follow the rules and regulations. Now you see they are even shaking hands. They are friends. One family. We're all suffering. All right. That's it from all of us here in the studio. Bye for now.